Look how you saved us on Calvary. Yeah, you love me. Even when I hated myself, you picked the phone up when I couldn't call no one else. And there was no one else to blame for the life I was dealt. Through the addictions, you helped me overcome all my afflictions, bad decisions. Your guidance helped me find what I was missing. Now I'm living. I'm only focused on the Great Commission. Tell the man in the mirror, I only live for God's vision.
As I look back and reflect on the things that I've done, how can one life that was paid on that day be enough? Been so long since I looked in the mirror. I hope there's still time to atone, as I thank God that he saved me a place in his home.
When I look into the mirror, I can see my reflection. See the way that I be sinning, man, it's hella depressing. Reminiscing about the past, and will it keep me from heaven? Is there any way to fix it? Can I find some redemption? Growing up, nothing was easy. My mother and father were beefing. Remember the days at the precinct. I thought that my dad would come see me. Man, I hated it. The child inside me was sinking. I fought anybody that teased me. The anger inside me was peaking. See, I was far from the Garden of Eden, losing the battle to all of my demons. All of my bros, yeah, they were the beacon. Got me this side of the church on the weekends. Man, I remember they gave me the thesis. Taught me that nothing was greater than Jesus. Took me a while to get it, cause when I went back to the crib, man, I didn't believe it. Came from a house that was struggling. Remember my stomach was rumbling. He saved me from all of the suffering. But even today I'll be stumbling. He kept me alive, I don't know the reason. Maybe I gotta read up on Ephesians. Worthy of nothing, but I'ma receive it. Man, I'ma shatter this mirror to peace.
As I look back and reflect on the things that I've done, how can one life that was paid on that day be enough? Been so long since I looked in the mirror. I hope there's still time to atone, as I thank God that he saved me a place in his home. You tried to hold me down, to keep me down from grace. And when I thought I won, you said I lost the race. Times I'm thinking what you're saying might be true. I almost gave up hope listening to you. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I've had enough of the same old lies. Don't go telling me your point of view. You're just a face in the mirror. I got news for you. As I look back and reflect on the things that I've done, how can one life that was paid on that day be enough? Been so long since I looked in the mirror. I hope there's still time to atone, as I thank God that he saved me a place in his home.
My main feedback is this wouldn't be something I'm running in a new party because people would think I'm playing a throwback.
You're completely not giving 100%. Yeah, I just don't think you got what it takes, bro.
See, making music ain't for everybody.
Stop trying to do everything, because then you're gonna get stuff that ends up sounding like this.
This is what it means to live in purpose. If you ain't know, and all it ever took me was some focus. If you ain't know, he told me spit the word without a pulpit. If you ain't know, so I ain't letting go of my anointment. If you ain't know, you already know what time it never is. Let go. I'm serving scriptures to the bodies that be lost in the street. Man, I ain't letting go of nothing, this the gospel to me. I'm never quitting, man, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I'm focused on my mission like I'm Moses walking straight through the sea. I got a pocket full of pennies cause my soul changed. Even that my Lord's never joined the dope, yeah. Now I'm getting real comfy, let the coat hang. You know I'm in the building, man, I'm about to blow like propane. If all this rapping's an issue, then you could grab a tissue. I'm saving lives with these verses, man, I won't even diss you. You got some hate on your spirit, man, it don't even fit you. You better step out my presence or else my God will fix you. Just know I'm living in purpose to every wait till you give it, man, I'ma take my flowers. Don't need no trophies or glory because he gave me power. I'll just keep repping the kingdom until the final hour. Purpose. Yeah. If you ain't know, and all it ever took me was some focus. Yeah. If you ain't know, he told me spit the word without a pulpit. Yeah. If you ain't know, so I ain't letting go of my anointment. Yeah. If you ain't know, never let go.
My purpose, man, it's locked down. Can't take it from me, no, not now. Ain't no way I'ma walk out. I'm fighting on for my God's crown. Got a problem with it, that's on you. Get behind me, Satan, watch God do everything that he said he would, and that's all faith, yeah, understood. Yeah, got a calling, we're showing up. Evil spirit need to step down, otherwise I'll be pulling up. Aftermath, y'all see the blood dripping down, got no love for the enemy. Holy, you better be telling my old self that he's dead to me. See these orders coming in, telling me to go spread the message. You can't tie me down, check it, we moving to the objective. With anointed sound, getting prophetic, y'all can't reject it. But with God, we make a move strictly because he said it. Woo. Ignore all the people that don't want to see you do it for the kingdom. Glory be given to God, we don't deserve it. When the yang comes, he's putting his heel right on the back of the neck, killing the serpent. The battle is already won, so
this is what it means to live in purpose. Yeah. If you ain't know, and all it ever took me was some focus. Yeah. If you ain't know, he told me spit the word without a pulpit. Yeah. If you ain't know, so I ain't letting go of my anointment. Yeah. If you ain't know, never let go. See, we only living in the purpose that God put us in, you feel me? Never let go. So never mind who you thought we were. Never let go. I know you feel like you the gatekeeper and everything. Never let go. But it ain't up to you. Yeah. You already know what time it is. Yeah. 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 I'm feeling like David. Yeah. Feeling like David. Yeah. Can't nobody slay me. Yeah. You can't slay me. I'm feeling like Moses. Yeah. Big like Moses. Yeah. Can't nobody hold me. Yeah. Can't nobody. Yeah. I'm feeling like Daniel. Yeah. And what I'm daddy. Yeah. Can't nobody face me. Yeah. You can't face me. I'm feeling like Joseph. Yeah. Big Joseph. Yeah. Can't nobody break me. Yeah. Can't nobody break me. Listen, why these haters tweaking? Acting like I don't need it. All of my pockets bleeding. All of my sneakers speaking. Never had a pot to piss in. Made a lot of dumb decisions. All of my sins forgiven. Now I got ammunition. No competition. This is the product of staying resilient. I'm gonna make it, don't need an opinion. Ain't gonna fumble, I'm here on a mission. I'm already winning. This is the vision. Feeling like Jesus in front of the millions. Making my mark with some bread and some fishes. Can't take the heat to get out of the kitchen. I'm feeling like David. King David. Yeah. Can't nobody slay me. Yeah. You can't slay me. I'm feeling like Moses. Yeah. Big like Moses. Yeah. Can't nobody hold me. Yeah. Can't nobody. Yeah. I'm feeling like Daniel. Yeah. Big Daddy. Yeah. Can't nobody face me. Yeah. You can't face me. I'm feeling like Joseph. Yeah. Big Joseph. Yeah. Can't nobody break me. Yeah. Can't nobody break me. Listen, stuck in the green, I stay in the lab. Heat up the curry, I'm making a splash. Brother, he made me with clay in his hand. Shooting my shot like I'm Kevin Durant. From London to France, I cannot wait till I see all the beautiful cities and land. That is the plan, so I'm gonna need all my checks.
What's going on, everybody?
Even without the best microphone, I'm finna make me a jam.
Yeah. Happy Tuesday. Yeah. I'm about to make this my intro to like everything. As soon as I step in, I just want the trumpets to just... Boy, I love trumpets. I absolutely love trumpets. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my Tuesday live Q&As. You guys know what this is about. This is all about learning about the music industry, learning how to be the best independent artist that you can be. And I'm just here to help you guys facilitate all of that. You guys know, again, let me, of course, get the particulars out the way. My name is WesTheTech. Let me go ahead and make sure I lower this music so it's not too interfering with what I'm saying. Man, I love that song. I really do love that song. But yeah, like I was saying, so my name is WesTheTech. I'm a music business coach. You know, I help artists figure out and navigate the music industry as an independent artist, right? I've been an independent artist for years now. I do music full time. I've been doing it full time for years, and there's so many things that I have learned throughout the ways to learn or to put myself in a position to be able to leave my 9-to-5 job so that I could do music full time. You know, it's been an absolute blessing being able to just wake up and only have to do music and things like that. And one day, you know, I just got a calling from God to just share my knowledge, share my experiences, share everything that I know with other independent artists out there so that they could hopefully get to the same point that I am. You know, I think most artists' biggest dream is to just be able to just make music and live off of it. And that's what I help you guys do. So, of course, on my channel, most of you guys have first been introduced to me through my tech tips. You know, those are my most watched videos. You know, then they're just helpful tips, helpful music industry tips that people are usually looking for answers for. All right, so if this is your first time joining in on my live actually starts every Tuesday at noon, where I could answer your questions live on air, right? So anybody who's joining in, anybody who's watching this live now, feel free to just start throwing your questions into the chat box here, because I'm going to try to answer as much of them as I can within this hour as possible so that I can help you with any particular issues that you may have. Valencia Walker, welcome 100. I see you there. Anybody else who's watching, just go ahead and let me know your introduce yourself, where you're watching from, all right, how long you've been doing music, or if you want to share any of your music links, please feel free to do that as well. All right, but Valencia, I believe this is my first time seeing your name in the chat, so welcome. I'm glad to have you, as well as everybody else who's joining in. All right, now, like I said, I'm a music business coach, but what's dope about me that you may find different from a lot of other music business coaches out there is that I am actually an artist as well. All right. When you go on YouTube, you see a lot of people giving you the information, but some of them aren't actually artists, right? Some of them are marketers, and they may know the information. Some of our managers or record label executives or AR executives and all of those different things. All of those things are great. They have to know the knowledge as well. But what makes me a little bit different is because I'm also an artist, I have experienced these things firsthand, right? So not only do I know the information, but I've also had the opportunity to practice the information and see if the information actually works and fine tune it to a point that I can say, okay, this actually works and this doesn't, regardless of the information. And I'm just here to share that information with you guys. All right. So definitely welcome to have anybody on here. Valencia, I see your question already. I love that. Again, anybody joining in, just say hey, go ahead and start dropping your questions there. And the last thing I'll mention before I get to your question first, Valencia, is my membership club. All right, this is for any one of you guys who's looking into getting additional perks like priority replies to comments, members only exclusive walkthrough videos, and free monthly music business coaching sessions. If you have any interest in any of those things, you can hit the join button, take a look at the different tiers, take a look at the different things involved. All right, and yeah, that's the extra stuff. All right, but that's what I'm here. You guys got me for an hour, so let's just jump right into it. I'll start off with Valencia's questions, and like I said, guys, feel free, regardless where at any point of the live stream that you're watching or joining in at, please feel free to just drop your questions in there, and yeah, I'll answer them the best I can. All right, so to start off with Valencia's questions, her question is, what do you think about Rock Nation distribution? All right, now this is actually a very ironic and great question, because I have recently found out that Rock Nation is offering distribution. I got a notification. I know that I don't know exactly how long they've been doing it, but I did find out about it recently. One of their members actually reached out to me and things like that. So as of right now, I'm still collecting data on their distribution company. All right. That's why I haven't done a video on it yet, because before I do any video on it, letting people know my thoughts on it, I have to first really understand the distribution company, the ins and outs of it, before I give out the information. Because last thing that I want to do is give out information that is incorrect or give out information that is incomplete. All right. So I'm still in the process of figuring out Rock Nation's distribution. But for the sake of this live, let's just look at what they do offer at face value. And I could kind of just give you some examples to go with it or go against it, depending on what they have. All right, Valencia. So let me just open up a page here, and we're going to check out what they offer as far as on paper, right? So Rock Nation distribution, and it's very interesting, right? Because we for most of us, we all know Rock Nation as, you know, one of those record labels that was big. I mean, that's, you know, Jay-Z, you know, Diamond Dallas Page, just all of that history of New York music and things like that. Rock Nation was one of those big record labels. Actually, a good friend of mine used to be signed to Rock Nation. So to see them in a light now as a distribution company, to be honest with you guys, is kind of weird, right? Because in my mind, right, Rock Nation is still a record label, right? And record labels are, in a sense, on the other side of the fence from the independent music industry, right? Because independent music industries, we're not part of a label. We're doing everything independently, right? The difference between being a part of a record label versus being an independent artist would be the difference of being an employee versus owning your own company, right? Of course, there's pros and cons to both. And I always tell people this, you know, even as an independent artist, and even though I promote being an independent artist, my path may not be the same path for you, right? Everybody has a different path, and everybody has a different vision of what they see their music career looking like. Pretty Girl Progression, welcome. Thank you for joining in again. Good to see Alexander. I want to say Jung or Young. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that. I hope I didn't pronounce it the wrong way. All right, but welcome as well. I believe this is my first time seeing your name as well. So welcome if this is your first time watching or putting a question on the chat. I will get to your question next. All right, so like I was saying, you know, between being a part of a label versus being independent, if you're the type of person who's okay with being an employee, right, and wanting basically the business to just work on its own, the record label will be the better path for you, right? Some people are perfectly fine being the artist on a record label because, let's be honest, the record label does the promotion for you. They get the budget for you. They pretty much get you in the position to do your music videos, to create your music, right? They fund all of the stuff, right? And there's a place that you could reach, some very, very high levels that you could reach being part of a record label that you may not ever reach as an independent artist. So those are all the perks of being a part of a record label. But again, you're an employee. There's somebody that will be making decisions for you. There's somebody that will be telling you what you can and cannot do, right? You don't ultimately have the freedom. And that's the downside to being a part of the record label. And sometimes you may not even be able to own the work that you work on because you're part of the record label. We've seen plenty of cases of artists who still trying to get their masters back from their record labels and things like that. So we do talk about, you know, I feel like a lot of people always talk about the downsides to the record label and ignore the upside. You know, I hear people like Busta Rhymes and just so many big mainstream artists that talk down about record labels, but it's like, yo, the reason we all know you guys is because of these record labels. You get what I'm saying? So it's a give and take, right? Versus being an independent artist, you know, the upside is you got no bosses. You are the boss. You're the CEO of your record label. You're the CEO of your music business, your music career, right? You don't have to answer to nobody. All the funds essentially go to you. Any money you make really only goes to you, right? You don't have to share it with nobody. That's the upside of being an independent artist. But the downside to that is you got to do all that individual work yourself. Everything that the record label does, you have to do yourself. You have to promote your own music. You have to make your own music videos. You have to pay for your own studio time. You have to do your own marketing and have your own budget and really use your own money to build your music career, right? So that's the downside of being an independent artist. And you have to learn a bunch of information, because if you don't know this information, you won't have a successful independent career, right? That's part of the reason I decided to start making these videos and things like that, to help you guys with the information. But the information alone isn't going to get you there. You also need the budget. You also need the work ethic and all of those different things. I'm telling you guys, being an independent artist is hard. There is so much work to be done versus someone who's part of a label. They pretty much just got to go on tour and go wherever the record label tells them to go. You get what I'm saying? So there's pros and cons to both. Going back to Rock Nation, I found it very interesting that they started to do distribution, but at the same time, it makes sense to me now. And the reason it makes sense to me now is because record labels, as much as people don't want to admit it, record labels are dying, right? That's just the reality of where we are at in the music industry now. The reason I say that is because a lot of artists are finding success outside of record labels, especially through the advent of social media, right? An artist could go viral on social media without any help from from a record label whatsoever, right? An artist could grow a fan base of millions around the world through social media without ever having to sign a deal with the record label, right? So this puts more power back in the artist's hands, because we can, and this also helps the independent world of making music, right? But it hurts the record labels, because everything that the record label, one of the biggest things that record labels were known for and was able to do is distribute your music, right? In the 90s, you wasn't getting your music distributed on CDs everywhere and Best Buy and stuff like that if you weren't part of a label, right? Now, all you got to do is sign up with a digital distributor like DistroKid or Symphonic or whatever, and your music is streaming on all different platforms, right? That immediately makes a record label irrelevant. Now, of course, record labels can still get you to certain heights that you wouldn't be able to get as an independent artist sometimes, but outside of that, what are they really offering, right? Social media is the catalyst to the death of record labels, the same way that Netflix was the catalyst to the destruction of Blockbuster, right? Some of you guys may be too young to know this, but there was a time that we had to go rent out DVDs and rent out VHSs to watch certain movies, right? If you missed it in theaters, then you had to go rent it out, go to Blockbuster, go rent it out, or purchase the DVD and watch it. As soon as Netflix started, I'm like, well, that's it for Blockbuster, because now we could just stream these movies. Blockbuster's going to be gone. And sure enough, it was gone like that, right? This is how the world changes, and companies and industries suffer versus other industries based off of those things, right? We literally don't have Blockbuster no more because of Netflix. And now we have so many other streaming platforms that we can't even count it anymore, right? That's how I feel that is going to reach a point with a lot of record labels, a lot of big ones. So Rock Nation, being that they started a distribution company, is actually very smart, because they're acknowledging what's happening, and they're acknowledging that, hey, we need to shift some things, we need to make a difference, and we need to offer something to the independent market. And I guess they decided to do that with their distribution. Now, if you were just to go to their page, Rock Nation announces Rock Nation Distribution following the merger of Rock Nation Label and Equity Distribution. All right, so this is their landing page. All right, so to join it, you have to click here. Now, the question is it free to join? All right, so Rock Nation Distribution supports and empowers independent artists by providing them with tools and services to distribute their music globally while retaining ownership of their masters. Correct. All right, so this is a sign up. I want to know about the plans, right? Is there any way, is that Shop Planes? Am I seeing that right? I don't know, but let's take a look. Okay, it is Planes. All right, so I wasn't wrong. Okay, this is something completely different. I don't even know if this is the right page. But let me see if I can find any information on this for you outside of signing up. Because I will tell you this, I don't like, me personally, I don't like when I'm dealing with a distribution company that won't give me information unless I sign up with them. I actually despise that. Right, here's Equity Distro. That's who they merged with, but their page isn't even working anymore. Right. I don't think there's any pages that we could at least maybe prices. Can we find out some prices? Can we find out anything about Rock Nation distribution? Let me see here. Right. Oh, that's my boy right there. Pay us no mind. He's another one who provide tips as well. Right. He's a marketer. Da, 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 da. See, it shouldn't be this hard to find information on them, and it's stuff like this that I don't like. Now, again, it could be still early in the process, right? Key features: global distribution. Most distributors have that. One of the standout features is it allows artists to mainstream ownership of their masters. Every distribution company, you'll be able to own your masters, so that's not a standout feature. All right. Real-time reporting analysis. Most distribution companies have that. All right. Rock Nation just offer monthly payouts. Now, this is actually good. Monthly payouts. Not every distribution company does monthly payouts. Most of the big ones do, but this is good as well. Publishing administration. Why choose Rock Nation? All right. Ownership, revenue. Boom, boom. Label usually takes a significant administrative fees. I mean, from what I'm seeing here, I'm not seeing anything that really stands out, but okay, here we go. Let's see of the structure. So 85-15 split distribution operations on the split of net profits. This means you retain. Okay, so this is a big piece of information. All right, so Valencia, this is the stuff that you got to look up. This right here, right? 85-15 split. Rock Nation distribution operates on an 85-15 split of net profits. This means you retain 85% of earnings from your music, while Rock Nation distribution takes 15% commissions for their services. This split applies to the net profit, ensuring you keep the majority of the revenue generated by music. All right. So when I typically see a percentage of the net profit or the percentage of the royalties, in my opinion, again, this is my opinion. Other people have different opinions on the matter, but in my opinion, I wouldn't recommend it. Right. And that's just me as an independent artist who does music, who's been in music for a while. The reason I say that is because when you're dealing with a percentage-based system, you're also dealing with no cap, meaning however much you make, they will continue to make, right? It's easy to say, well, in the beginning, 85-15 split isn't that much. If I make $100, I only have to give them $15. That is correct. But if you make $100,000, then now you have to give them $15,000, right? Versus a subscription-based music distribution company that you just have to pay $30 or $40 a year to maintain it, right? So the potential for you to spend so much more will be in the percentage base that they're taking. When we have other distribution companies out there that is literally you keep 100% of your royalties, you just have to pay them a annual fee for the service that they are providing to distribute and keep your music up, right? So I know that a lot of people go back and forth with this all the time, but I just look at the clarity of it. I mean, some people, they say, well, usually with the splits, you could sign up for free. They don't take anything, and then they just take a percentage. It's better to just have them take their percentage and not have to pay anything up front. I disagree. I think it's better whichever way that you could save the most money. At the end of the day, that annual fee with Symphonic and DistroKid and TuneCore and all of that stuff, that's not going to change. And if they do decide to change it, it'll maybe be by a couple of dollars. They're going to get a 15% cut no matter forever. You get what I'm saying? So if I end up having a song go viral and make $1 million off of that song, well, guess what? They are entitled to $150,000 of the net revenue that I've made off of that song. You get what I'm saying? So that's just my take on it. So this is the first thing that I noticed that I would I personally will go against. All right, but again, I don't know what other opportunities are here. Right, I'm sure they're gonna have additional services, especially being that they're Rock Nation. Right, look, they have licensing. They manage licensing of your music to various uses, including synchronization licenses, right? Film, TV, commercials, and more. This makes sense. I mean, it is Rock Nation. They've already built relationships with these industries, the TV industry, the commercial industry, the film industries, right? We've listened to Rock Nation artists in their music in film, in TVs, in commercials, and all of those things. So this makes sense. And if that's something that you're looking for specifically, this may be something that may be a great sales point to you as an artist if you're looking for sync licensing, because I have no doubt in my mind that Rock Nation will be able to help you with syncing opportunities. Right, Sync Licensing, Rock Nation Distributor actively works to place your music in films, just like I said, TV shows, commercials, and other media. That's great. That's absolutely great. I can tell you most other distribution companies don't do that. They just distribute your music, and you got to figure out the syncing stuff on your own, right? So that's dope. But again, it's pros and cons, right? And here it goes, no upfront fees. I told you. Anytime you see a split like this, you're always going to see no upfront fees. Typically, there are no upfront fees for music distribution. This makes it easier for the independent artists to get their music out globally without initial financial barriers. However, there may be fees associated, whatever that means. But a long story short, not to spend too much time on this, Valencia, it seems like they're still in the process of figuring it out. The reason I say that is because outside of that page alone, the facts and questions, like, you really just have to sign up for it to know more about it, right? The people that they partnered with, their website is disabled. That's not a good look, but again, this is early. Look, I mean, they made the announcement in August, right? They literally announced it 2 months ago, right? And like, they basically merged with Equity Distribution, which is probably why Equity Distribution site doesn't even work anymore. Their landing page doesn't even work. Look, they don't even own the domain anymore. You get what I'm saying? So it's still too early to tell, but from what I see initially, I don't co-sign splits when it comes to royalties. That's just me personally, but I could understand the case for other people. All right. William Barrow, welcome. Thank you for joining in. Hariz Daniel, I see you as well. Yo, what's good? Thank you for joining in as well. All right. I haven't seen you guys' names before as well, so welcome to the channel. It's glad to have you guys. All right. And I already see you guys are putting questions down, so that's great. That's great. I love it. I love it. Any music industry tip questions you guys may have, feel free to just drop it in the comments or in the chat box here, and I will assist you the best I can with it. So, Valencia, I hope that answers your question in regards to it. Let me see what else you have. Okay, I see your other question about Sound Exchange. All right, and okay, they make you sign an agreement before you access your account. See, I don't like that neither. I don't like that either, unless it's like a terms and conditions, because you kind of have to sign that. I agree with any company, right, that you're dealing with, but if it's like an agreement, then I'm just like, ugh, but I guess lastly I'll do is just look at the information they're asking on the form. All right. Unreleased music, Spotify links, YouTube links, TikTok. This is interesting because if you're planning on distributing my music and I'm a new artist, I don't have a Spotify link. I'm just starting. So how would I have that if I'm coming to you guys to distribute my music for the first time? But this is their form. This is how it looks like. Again, it's still in the early phases. I'm sure at some point it will be more elaborate. They'll have a better landing page. They'll have more information, this, that, and the third. But the more I learn from it, the more information I get from it and things like that, the more I'm comfortable talking about it. we'll at that point I'll make a video on it to really just encapsulate all the importances and the differences between Rock Nation distribution versus other distribution companies. But that was a great question. I love that question, and like I said, I found it ironic because someone just reached out to me from there not too long ago. All right, now Alex Young, now to get your question, peace. In your journey, what has been something you felt like was a smart move to get your music heard? Oh man, that's such a great question. That's such a great question. Geez, there's so many things that I feel like has really benefited my my music career, especially when it comes to it getting heard. Um, the biggest, oh my gosh, what has been smart move? Well, of course, I let me instead of thinking of the biggest, I'll just name a few. All right, um, being active on social media. That is a very smart move. It's a very smart move. It's one of those moves that you have to do. You have to do. It is literally why, like I was saying earlier, it's literally why record labels aren't as big as they used to be because of social media. Social media can be the driving force to your music career if you are willing to actually work it, right? Work social media, not be on social media, liking and following and scrolling, but actually build your business on social media. Build your music business on social media. That is one of the biggest advices that I could give you as an artist, right? Every making music and having the music is one thing. Exposing it to the world, getting it heard is another. And a big part of that is using social media. All right. I'll give you guys an example. There was actually, it's the song that's playing right now. The song that's playing right now in the background, that's one of my biggest songs. It's called Feeling Like David, right? And Alexander, when I released that song, I did a series of different reels, right? And there was one reel I did in particular that had this song. The only thing you could hear from the reel was this actual song, right? That reel went viral, right? It went viral on one of the social media platforms, and the success and the numbers that I got off of Feeling Like David because of that one reel that I did literally made Feeling Like David my biggest song to date, right? It went absolutely viral. I had a couple of million views on the reel itself, but you got to think about it. That means a couple of million people not only seen the reel, but they heard the music. And because they heard the music, I just seen a spike in the numbers of downloads of the song, spike in the numbers of streams of the song, spike in the number of Shazams, right? And just all of these different things, everything was going up because of one little reel. So I would absolutely advise you guys to definitely be on social media, all right? Another smart move that I would say would be to learn about music royalties. Learn about music royalties, understand music royalties, because royalties is the name of the game in regards to how you get paid as an independent artist. If you don't understand how you get paid as an artist, where you get paid, how much you get paid in these different places, how to actually sign up for these different places to get paid, then you're shooting yourself in the foot, right? I know artists who've been making music for years now, and they're just now figuring out how to actually collect all of their royalties. There's an artist, a friend of mine, who he just signed up for one of those places and had a couple of $1,000s waiting for him, and he had no idea about this. Again, these are the things that the record labels were the only people who knew about it, but we live in a time and era now that everybody the information is open to everybody, but you still have to apply yourself. All right. Now, what I will tell you is there's a lot of helpful guides and stuff out there when it comes to royalties, but I have a guide myself. All right. It's the royalty handbook. All right. The music royalty handbook. And in that, it's an ebook, right? So it's all digital. If you want it, you could grab it. It's all digital. And I map out all the different royalties. that is available to you as an independent artist, where you have to sign up to collect all of those different royalties, right? And not only where you need to sign up, but what who they pay out to, right? Because some royalties just pay out to you as the artist, some pay out to you and the producer, some pay out writing royalties and all of these different types of things, right? Understanding royalties is major, 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 major. That's like when you're working at a job. Okay, understanding how I get paid. Do I get paid weekly, bi-weekly? All right. Taxes. How much is the taxes coming out? Do I have medical insurance that's going to be removed from the amount? All right. Bonuses. Where does that apply to my checks? All of those things. That's understanding how you're getting paid. That is so, so important, and you can't build a successful music career without it. So I would say those two things, Alexander, would be the two smartest moves that I had. Number one, really diving into social media and using it for my advantage. And number two, learning royalties, learning music royalties and understanding it. Now, I'm going to share a link with you guys for any of you guys who are interested in the royalty handbook. All right. Let me make sure before I move on to the next question to go ahead and put that in the chat there. For those of you who are watching right now, and for those of you who may be rewatching this, all right, you could check out this link, all right, and there's the link right there, the Music Royalty Handbook. Just make sure y'all check that out. I'll show you where the link brings you to. It brings you to this page right here, right? All the information is there. It's only $25. I'm telling you, it's going to be well worth it. Like I said, it tells you where you can get all your music royalties, what to sign up for. And there's clickable links. There's clickable links on it as well, so you could just click on it. It'll bring you directly to the sign up screen of the places that you need to sign up for, and so on and so forth. All right. But I hope that answers your question, Alexander. All right. And I hope that was definitely helpful. Let me see what else I have here. All right, so moving on. Oh, I see it. Thanks for answering my question. Very inspiring, and we'll be taking these gems. Feeling like David is how I found out about you. We'll be back to tune in again for sure, for sure. Appreciate it so much. See what I'm talking about? That's social media. Social media made that happen. That is still my biggest song today, and I appreciate the question. That was a great, great question, Alexander, and I'm glad I was able to give you some nuggets for sure. All right, so now moving on to William's question here. All right, again, William, welcome. Thank you for dropping a question in the chat. Let's get to it here. Said, bro, Wes, why does Lander make your ISRC code non-transferable in their contract once you've registered with them? Ooh, that I did not know that. That's interesting. One needs this should they decide to cancel their service. Okay, so that's very, very interesting. That's very, very interesting, right? So Lander, apparently, when you distribute your music with them, right, they have non-transferable ISRC codes, all right? Now, for those of you who don't know what ISRC codes are basically, what's the easiest way I could explain it? They're basically the registration code to your music, all right? Now, I did a video explaining ISRC codes as well as ISWC code. Both of these codes are very, very important for you guys to understand. All right, I'm going to share the link to this video here about ISRC codes and ISWC codes. But what an ISRC code is essentially, I don't know if you guys can see this. Here, let me change the screen so you guys can see this. On my Sprite can, you see a barcode, right? Every time you purchase something at the store, there is a barcode. This barcode is for products, it's for goods. Music have a barcode, and that barcode is the ISRC code. Anytime your song gets played, the royalties that we was just talking about, the royalties get paid out based off of the ISRC code, right? Now, what the other things that are tied to your ISRC code is the number of plays, number of streams that you collect with your music, right? So if you're on Spotify and you get 1,000 streams on Spotify, right? 1,000 streams on Apple Music, that's all linked to your ISRC code. Now, because according to William, he's saying that the ISRC code is non-transferable. What that means is that If you're with Lander and you decide to go to another distribution company, like let's say you don't like their service and you decide to go to another distribution company, you won't be able to transfer that ISRC code, which means that all your play counts will start over. Everything that all the traction that you built up on that song will be lost and you have to start over. For example, the numbers that I have for Feeling Like David, I would lose all of that because once I cancel it, it would be off of music distribution, and once I put it on a new platform, I can't bring that ISRC code with me. If that is actually the case, I'm not sure if it is. I mean, there's no reason for me to not trust what William is saying. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up real quick and find out. But if that is the case, then that is a problem for sure. For sure, for sure, for sure, ISRC code. That is a problem for sure because it you would hope that it is transferable, but there are certain distribution companies that won't be as much of a problem. All right, and I'll explain that after we go here. Okay, so what I just Googled here, Lander terms and conditions, because this is where you would find this information, and this is why it's important to look into your terms and conditions with any distribution company. All right, I put Lander terms and conditions ISRC code. All right, so according to their terms of service, these codes are provided to you personally, and you cannot transfer them to someone else. That is the same with all when they say someone else, they mean another artist. I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but they're saying that you cannot transfer it to another artist. I don't now that is standard. Distribution or DistroKey gives you an ISRC code, and you can't transfer your ISRC code to another artist, to someone else. But if that's what you're referring to, then that's very different from being able to switch distribution companies. All right, so William, if you can, let me know if that's what you're referring to, or if you're actually referring to if you're trying to transfer to another distribution company, because that's two different things. All right. I know these terms and conditions get heavy and can feel overwhelming, but guys, I be reading all of this stuff. It's crazy. Especially for the ones that I actually deal with. Okay, so let's see. This is the section that it talks about it. We may provide universal product codes. That's a UPC code. That's also another code that is attached to your music. And the International Standard Recording Codes, the ISRC code. Again, I explained that in that video. These codes can be provided personally, and you cannot transfer them to someone else, another person, right? An ISRC code is required for any recording released to the digital store. Of course, you need a barcode before you could have it on the digital store. You need a code before you could sell this product in an actual store. That's what they scan it by. If you don't have an ISRC code for your recording, we can provide one. If you ask us to provide an RC code, it means that you are authorized to use all necessary information, including the identity of the rights owner of whose behalf of the ISRC code was assigned, and reference metadata about the recording, including the artist's name, track title, version, year of first production, track duration, and other relevant data, and to maintain records of such information. You cannot ask for an ISRC code if you already have one for your recording. That's all of this is standard. All of this is standard. So I'm not seeing, I guess, advisory warning. Let me see what that's about. No, that's something else. Okay, let me see what they say about that. Sometimes you'll find it in the cancellation process, right? You go to the cancel end of service. Here we go. Maybe it's in here. Let's check this. It should be here. All right. You're free to stop using our service at any time. We also reserve the right to suspend or end the services at any time at our discretion without notice. This is true. All right. For example, we may suspend or terminate your use of services if you are not compliant to the terms of this agreement, or use the services in a manner that would cause us legal liability, disrupt the service, or disrupt other use of the service. That is true. More precisely, we will cease our service for your recordings if Your subscription to your landed account ends for any reason. You send a written notice asking that we cease the release. Yeah, you breach any terms of agreement. We believe our sole discretion. Correct. Okay, I know the terms, but I'm trying to see 30 days, blah, blah. Okay. Except for paid amount, we reserve the right to terminate or delete your account. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so yeah, I don't see anything in here, William, that is letting you know that you won't be able to transfer your ISRC code or go to another distribution company with your ISRC code. The only part of the transfer that they're referring to is transferring from one person to another, which means one artist to another. All right, and just in case, I'm just going to find the word ISRC code throughout this whole thing here and see if there's these are the only places that they mentioned the ISRC code in the entire terms and conditions, and I already read all of that to you. So I hope that clarifies things for you, William. They're only referring to transferring them from one artist to another, but that, like I said, comes standard with every distribution company. You're not allowed to transfer your ISRC code for your song and give it to another artist. You cannot do that. But if you want to transfer your music from one distribution company to another, you absolutely can do that, all right, with the ISRC code. And some distribution companies literally make the transfer process super easy, by the way. There's a few of them that make it easy. Actually, Lander, one of the companies that make it easy as well, which is ironic. But Lander, Symphonic, these are all great companies that make it super easy for you to actually transfer, all right? But I hope that answered your question, William. But yeah, great question there. Hariz Daniel again, yo, what's good? Thank you for joining in. All right. Alexander says, thanks for answering my question. Very inspiring, and we'll be taking. Oh yeah, I read that one. We'll be tuning in again. Okay. Valencia said, Rock Nation generates the ISRC code for you if you don't have one. The ISWC is required before you register a single. All right, I use BMI. Do I still need to register with Sound Exchange? All right, Valencia, that is a great question. LD40, welcome thank you for joining in. Oh, thank you so much, LD40, for donating. That's what's up. What's up, Connect and Chat? LD40 just tuning in. I appreciate you, brother. Always appreciate you for sure. Y'all show LD40 love in the comments for sending that tip over. That means a lot. It's truly appreciated. Valencia, okay, so what you said in this question right here, Rock Nation generates the ISRC code for you if you don't have one. Yes, that's the same with every distribution company, right? The ISWC code is required before you can register a single. That isn't entirely true. You could still register a single, but it is good practice to register with your PRO before you release your song. It is good practice, but if you forget to do it, you can still do it afterwards. All right. I use BMI. BMI is one of the PROs that I'm referring to. Do I still need to register with Sound Exchange? Okay, so see, that's a great question, Valencia, and it's questions like that was the reason that I made, again, the royalty handbook, because in the royalty handbook, right, it lets you know BMI and ASCAP, as your performing rights organization, they collect a particular type of royalty. Sound Exchange collects a whole different type of royalties. So you need them both because they're collecting different types of royalties. One, signing up with BMI doesn't automatically mean you don't need Sound Exchange and vice versa. They collect two completely different types of royalties, so you actually need them both, right? There are 5 different places that you need to sign up for to make sure that you collect the royalties that are due to you. And there are 6 different types of royalties that you can collect as an independent artist, right? I'm gonna say that again. There's 5 different places that you need to sign up for to make sure that you're getting all your royalties, and 6 different types of royalties that you can collect as an independent artist. Now, for those of you who are wondering, why is there more collections, but there's only 5 places to sign up? Because one of the answer to that is that one of those places actually collect 2 of the 6 different types of royalties, right? So there's one-on-one for most of them, but one of them collects 2 different types of royalties out of the 6 different types. So that's why there's only 5 places to sign up, but there's 6 different royalties to collect. In order for you to understand that, Valencia, I'm telling you, just grab that ebook. It is worth every penny of it. It's very, very important for you to know that, because again, in order for you to be successful as an independent artist, you have to know how you get paid. You have to know what Sound Exchange collects, what's the amount they collect, and why to register for it, and who gets paid in Sound Exchange, because that's very different from BMI and ASCAP. Very, very different. The person who pays what they collect, the royalties they collect, is very different, and who they pay out is also different as well. But that's a great, great question. All right, for the sake of time, I can't dive into that with you, which is why I'm referring you to grab the handbook here. But you definitely need to familiarize yourself with royalties so that you understand them in and out. Because again, your music career is depending on it. I know so many artists who have decided to like end their career or stop their career, or are unmotivated because they feel like they're not getting enough response. Or you put out so much effort. You put out so much effort to write your music, to perfect the recordings, right? To get it mixed and mastered, to release it. And then once you release it, you're like, man, I'm not gaining any revenue from this whatsoever, right? That is very disheartening as an independent artist. I've been there as well. We've all been there before, right? This goes back to the question that Alexander asked me of what are the 2 smart moves, or what are the smart moves to get my music heard. The 2 biggest things is social media, because social media helps with getting your music heard. And the second thing is understanding my royalties. If I didn't do those 2 things, I would still be a struggling artist. If I didn't figure out how to market my music on social media and how to collect the money, I would be struggling, and I wouldn't even be here today sharing this information with you guys, right? So make sure you guys tap into that stuff so you can really understand those things. You guys gotta understand how much, like, for example, does anybody know? Then this is a pop quiz. Does anybody know how much streams you need to have on Spotify to make $1? If anybody could share that, put it in the comments. I know the exact answer, but I want to see if any of you guys know what is the estimated amount of streams that you have to get on Spotify to actually make $1. All right. Let me know in the chat. I'll give you guys a moment to figure that out and drop it in it to see if someone can guess. Don't look it up and just throw it on here, but I want to see who can maybe answer that. All right. LD40, great question. I'm coming to your question right now. Pure Hilarious, what's going on, brother? Thank you for joining in. I salute you as well, brother. Good seeing you for sure. All right, so LD40 question is question. I'm creating a lo-fi music video for YouTube, about an hour long. Very, very smart. Very, very smart. Should I register the songs as one song or register every song independently? Ooh, that's a great question. You want to do them independently. Because I'll put it this way. If they listen to it on YouTube and it's one song, that is one stream, right? Because you don't get paid based off of how long the song is. You get paid on how many times they listen to the song. So if you register 23 songs as one song, then they can listen to that whole hour lo-fi video and you get one stream off of it. But if it's a bunch of songs and you register all of them as they're listening to it in that hour, you're going to get a streaming revenue for each song that plays, right? So definitely break it off, register each individual song, register all of them, and then make the long video, right? This is why you see certain artists, they have like extended play of their discographies, which is one video that just has all of their songs, right? And it just plays from one song to the next song to the next song to the next song, all in one video. Even though it's one video, they're getting a stream every single time the next song plays and the next song plays and the next song plays, right? When I'm doing these lives here and the music is playing in the background, guess what? Every time that next song comes up, that counts as a stream for that song. But if I registered all those songs as just one long hour song, that's one stream. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense for you, LD40. But yeah, I would definitely advise to do it all independently and just put it all together in one video just for the sake of YouTube. But also release every song individually as well. Every lo-fi song individually as well, right? Put them all on the platforms as well, just so people, because there may be one or two of them that they may really, really like and really, really want to have, right? So give them the option to have those individuals as well. You could probably put it in the description of the video, each link to each one that comes up on the list of the hour-long lo-fi experience on the video. Just have a list of all the individual songs that they could just click on and get themselves individually if they wanted to do that as well. But that is a great idea, LD40. I think that is super, super smart. I actually never thought of that. So that's definitely ingenious. I'm gonna have to do that myself. I'm gonna probably put together one long video of my best songs and just make a long video of it. You get what I'm saying? And hopefully, like, instead of, because we've seen that before. We've seen like hour-long playlists of wedding music or this music or that music. We've seen that before. So it's the same concept essentially. But every single time that next song gets played, it's another stream for that song. All right. So I hope that makes sense. All right. Now I do have some people. All right. Pure Lyrics said it's 1,000 streams for $1. Right. LD40 says it's 230 streams to make $1. All right. These are very close. Now here's the thing. It's not. There's no way that we can find the exact number, but there are estimate calculators. All right, and in order for you to do that, all you got to do is type in music streaming calculator. Right, music streaming calculator. I always like using music gateways because I feel like they always update it. But let's check this one out. Look at this. Streaming calculator update. I never even seen this one before. Streamingcalculator.com. Ooh, this is a new one. Ooh, this is a new one. Okay. So, as long as they let me. Oh, I have to enter the amount of streams? No, I want to enter in the amount. Can I do it per amount? No, I can't. Okay, this never used to come up before, so I'm just curious. Okay, let's put in what Pure Lyrics said. I wish it was the other way around, that I could just put $1 and then it just shows me. Can I do that down here? Yeah, no, I can't. They won't let me click. All right, see, that's why I like Music Gateway. But all right, let's do this. Let's do 1,000. 1,000 streams will get you $3.40. So you estimated a little bit too high, LD or Pure Lyrics. LD40 said 230. Let's see 230. 230 is 78 cents. You're a little bit too low. You know what? I'll keep that one up, and I'll bring up the one I usually go to, which is the Music Gateway royalty calculator. All right, for those of you who's watching on IG, welcome as well. Thank you guys for joining in. Feel free to throw any questions that you may have on IG as well. I can answer them from IG as well. All right, but of course I will always recommend you guys to check me out on YouTube instead, because it's a better experience overall. All right, so see, with Music Gateway, you could just put in the amount, but I believe I want to say it's 400. Enter the number of streams. I believe it's 400. Oh no, it's actually it's 360. Is it? Let me see 360. Because I went a little bit too high as well. 360. Did it update? I don't know if it even update. Let me go back. There's a calculator that I use that you can literally just put in the amount. Like, you could just put in $1 and it'll tell you. Hold on. No, it's not 360. Okay, let's try 320. I know it's last time I checked, it was in the 300s. But if it dropped down to the 200s recently, that would be phenomenal. I would love that. Oh, let's try 300 flat. I'm looking at Spotify for those of you who are watching, right? So Spotify is at 120 right now for 300. If it's in the 200 mark, 280? No. 260? Oh man, $1.04. Okay, well it's getting better. 250. 225? No, 240. Okay, 250. Let's go to 250. 250. There it is. There it is, guys. 250 is so LD40 was actually the closest. He was the closest. He said 230. All right, 250 streams to make $1 on Spotify. That same thing will make you $1.25 on Apple Music, which means it's better. Tidal is $3. All right. Yeah, these are the different numbers. YouTube is the least amount. All right. Well, SoundCloud is the worst. I know that for sure. I don't even talk about SoundCloud. So I even forget about SoundCloud, to be honest with you guys. But YouTube is there as well. But remember, guys, YouTube is the easiest access one, right? But yeah, these are the numbers. These are the numbers that it would take to make $1, right? Now, going back to what I was saying, unless you know where to collect these, you won't ever get that $1. So you got to make sure that you're registering in the right places. You got to make sure that you're going to the right place to get your music registered so that you get paid when you get paid, right? But these are the different amounts that you get for streams. So, guys, we got to get a lot of streams in order to make a lot of money. But there's other types of revenue, right? It's not just streaming revenue, and that goes back to the royalty handbook, right? Streaming revenue is just one type of revenue, one type of royalty that you get as an artist, right? That's the number you get from DistroKid, all right? If you have DistroKid or TuneCore and or Symphonic, CD Baby, whatever, whoever you're distributing with, let's say you're only making like $50 right now, right? Like, man, out of all the streams I've had, I've only made $100 off of my music. Yeah, but that's only $100 when it comes to streaming royalties. There's 5 other places that are also collecting royalties for those same songs. You got to make sure you register to those places as well so you can get paid on those places as well, right? It's not just the streaming that you got to focus on. You got to focus on all the different places that you collect royalties from, right? I'm not a full-time artist because of streaming royalties alone. I'm a full-time artist because of streaming royalties, all the other 5 royalties, and all the other ways that I make revenue as an independent artist, right? It has to be an accumulation of things, different streams of income, right? Plural. Think of archipelago. I'm sorry, guys. I know this is a tangent, but I got to make sure that's the right, because I learned it in school, right? Archipelago, and I keep saying it, but I don't remember if I'm actually saying the right thing. But no, see, it's wrong. I knew I was wrong. Archipelago is not the word I'm looking for. I'm looking for the word, guys. Y'all gotta help me out. The end of the river. What's the end of the river called when it opens into the ocean? Somebody please help me. I had a specific name. End of river called. Oh, there was a specific name, guys. Please, somebody help me. Help me say face. Help me say the Delta. Is it a Delta? I think it's the Delta. Oh, it might be the Delta. I keep saying archipelago. That's a body of a lot of different islands. Delta on a river. It might be the Delta. If it's, please be the Delta. Please be the Delta. The Delta. Yes, this is it. The Delta is the word that I'm looking for, right? So Delta of the Nile River. The Delta is the word I'm looking for. Finally, man, listen, I've been trying to figure this out, right? So the reason I like this word Delta, and I'm always referring to it, is because you have the like the Nile River, for example, right? Before it empties out, right? Before it empties out into the Mediterranean Sea, I hope that's right. Right? It turns into, here we go. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Ooh, this right here. The Delta. That's that. Are you smarter than the 5th grader, right? This is stuff we learned in 5th grade that we forget over time, right? But this is what I'm talking about. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. These are multiple streams, right? They're smaller streams, but they all combine to the Nile River, right? The Nile River is where we want to get to. This is where you're making the most income as an independent artist. But you got to make sure you're getting all of these little streams to build up that all come together to make this big, thick stream, which is what's called the Nile River, right? So this is your streaming revenue right here, right? This is your PRO revenue right here, right? This is your sound exchange revenue right here, right? This is your merchandise revenue right here, right? This is your paid shows right here, right? This is your features right here. Like all of these different things come together, and now you have a big stream of income. But that big stream of income has to come from all the little streams of income of all the different things that you do as an independent artist, right? So that's what I mean when I say archipelago, but I've always meant delta, all right? You got to think of the your music career and when it comes to collecting revenue as a delta. Don't just look at the river like, oh, streaming is the river. No, streaming is just one of the many little rivers that make up the big river. The big river is an accumulation of all the other little places. I hope that makes sense. I need to get back on. I need a refresher for geography because I used to love geography and know this stuff like the back of my hand. I've been calling this thing an archipelago forever now. All right, so I apologize for that if I've been throwing you guys off with that analogy. I've met a delta this entire time. All right, but thank you guys for bearing with me and showing me grace either way. All right, so. Yeah, that's pretty much it on that. So William said, thanks, bro. I thought the contract was stating that you could not sell or transfer your ISRC code license if you decide to leave Lander as your music distributor. No, yeah. And I could understand why your mind went there. That makes sense. But the reason I know that they're referring to as far as transferring to someone else, to another person, is because you see that with so many other distribution companies. All right. And when you make that transfer, to another company, typically all you got to do is you enter in that, so for example, let me, how much time we got? Oh, we're over time, but you know what? I'm gonna show you guys this real quick. Super quick, right? Symphonic, for example, is one of the companies that I'm talking about, right? If you were to go from another company to Symphonic, they have this whole transfer process, right? Transfer tracks, right? Where you enter in the ISRC code, right? This is basically a new import, right? You put the link of the song, right? They'll find the song. You click on the song, right? And then you put in your once you find the song, it's gonna automatically put in all of the information, right? It's gonna extract it directly from the Spotify link that you put, right? And then you just put in the ISRC code, right? And then once the transfer is complete, you could just cancel it from Landert or wherever else you come from, right? So they're going to issue out a new ISRC code, but somehow they're able to transfer all the data from one to the other, which is dope. There's not too many companies that do this, but the companies that do this is absolutely awesome. And I know that there's another way that you could do it without losing your play count and everything like that, but you have to be very, very careful on how you do it. I believe I made a video on how to do that as well. Switching distribution companies. I did a video on like all the different things that you have to do to make sure that you switch it without losing your play count. Here we go, right here. Right? It's one of my older videos, like when I was first starting the channel, because it was like one of the first things that I learned, right? But for those of you who are watching or rewatching this, if you want to know how to do that switch from, like, if the distribution company that you want to go for doesn't have something like this that helps you transfer that Symphonic has, then just watch that video. That video will help with that. And actually, let me just double check here to see if this is accurate. What was it, 250? 250? Are you going to say, see, this one's giving me a completely different number. So I don't know which one's right. I don't know if this one's right, but Music Gateway has been right for a long time. So I'm going to stick with them. That new calculator, I mean, they say updated, so maybe it is updated. Maybe the number is new. Maybe you do have to make more than 250 now. Let's see. Let's try 280. 280, 95, 300. Okay, it looks like it's in the 300 mark. 289. Don't do that. 290. Oh, that's so annoying. Give me my dollar. 291. Oh, you such jerks. 295. All right, it's 295. which would be, if this is the more updated, that means we have to have more streams now to make $1, which would suck. But yeah, that's royalties. But again, that's just one aspect of revenue. There's plenty others as well. All right, LD40 said, gems of ideas, laugh aloud. I have many more. By the way, any links on how to partition multiple songs into one video on your YouTube? Oh, yes. Ooh, great question. What? Okay, that's got to be the last one. That's got to be the last one. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Iowa, thank you for joining in. Thank you for joining in. You came at the last second. So what is your current recommendation for music distributions? And is 2 Lost okay for 2024? My most recent recommendations would definitely be currently, I would say Symphonic. I would also say, I'm trying to remember what I did back in January. It hasn't really shifted much from January. Let me see. Earlier this year, I'm gonna answer that one, then I'll answer LD40s. And welcome, Iowa. I don't think I've seen your name here before, so welcome. And thank you for asking that question. Let me get that question, and then LD40, I'm gonna show you exactly how to partition that, because that's a great question. I'm sure there's others who want to know that as well. Okay, so in this video, I gave you my recommendations for this year. I don't think it has changed much since I did this video. 2 Lost was actually one of the 3. I always leave it to like a big 3, right? And I believe 2 Lost was one of them. I'm trying to remember the other 2. I know Symphonic was another one. And okay, so this is what it was at the beginning of the year. All right. This is no longer the case. I can tell you guys right now that DistroKid is no longer on the top 3 list. It is still a great distribution company. It's just become far too expensive. I mean, on this list, it was the 3rd option on this list because of how expensive it is. But DistroKid is a great distribution company outside of the price. Like, they handle so many things so well, and they have so many benefits that other distribution companies don't have. All right, but I wouldn't recommend DistroKid moving forward if you're trying to cut on costs, because DistroKid will get expensive on you. The other 2, yes, I think I know what's replacing this for. I do this in the beginning of every year. All right, so we're a couple of months away from 2025, which is crazy. We're about to be in November soon, right? The new video will come. It'll be in the first week of January, so stay tuned for that. All right, because I go through a long process before I make these videos, so I don't want to just throw out a distribution company and tell you, right, Iowa? But just be on the lookout for it in January. But as far as 2 Lost and Symphonic, I feel comfortable letting you know that those are good for now. All right, I haven't heard any bad things in regards to either one of them. And, of course, their pricing and everything like that is great. All right, so I'm leaving the recommendation to those 2. All right, but if you wanted to check out that video, I believe I just shared that link with you. All right, now, lastly, LD40, let's go over your question here. I don't know why I closed that, because in order for me to show you what I need to show you, I have to keep that up. Okay, so the way you partition those videos, right? You go to a video. All right. Come on, what's going on? What's going on? Load for me. There we go. All right. I wish I could find one that's already partitioned. But I don't remember. This one's not partitioned, which is crazy because that's my most viewed one. I don't know what's happening to my internet right now. I hope that I'm still live. Yeah, I'm still live. It's just acting weird over here. Okay, cool. Whatever. This one's not partitioned. Let me see which one is. You know what? I don't need to see it to be able to do it. I could just show you how to do it real quick. So in order to partition a video on YouTube, it's actually really, really easy. All you have to do is put these like partition titles. I'm gonna show you. So you go in and you literally go like this. Like you could do it like this. You put intro, right? Did I type that in? Yeah, intro, and then you put 00. You put the timestamp, right? Intro 00, right? And then you put in the next part, part 1, and that starts at 01:25, right? And then you put part 3 or part 2, right? 3 minutes or 0 part 3 03 and 30 or something like that, right? And then I believe that's all you have to do. And then you hit save, and then it should actually partition it out. Let me see. It's something like this. It's something like this that you literally just have to type it into the descriptions, and then it partitions it. It's not doing it. It's not doing it. I might be missing something. I think I have to add 2 more zeros or something like that. There's a particular way that you have to do it. LD40, matter of fact, I know there's a how to partition video. How to partition YouTube video. They'll show you how to do it. There's a video to show it. I wish I had enough time to find a video that I actually did it, then I could have just showed you that. But it's something like that you just have to type it in right there. You see, you do the timestamp. You just put in the timestamp codes, and then it'll literally just, and then you title them. You put the timestamp code and you title them. Maybe you put the title after the code. I think that's actually what it is. You put the timestamp. You put it after you title it. I put it before. You got to put it after. So I'm gonna share this with you, LD40, but I'm gonna go back to that one video, and boom, that's how to do it. But I'm gonna go back to the one video I just did to try to do it and show you, because yeah, I believe you have to put in the code first and then you put the title. I did it the other way around, which is why it didn't work. Let me go back. I am so over the tie, guys. How you gonna come in LD40 that late and ask you such a great question like that? Okay, here we go. Let's go back. Load. I don't know why this is doing this. I'm so sorry, guys, because my internet is typically way better than this. Okay, yeah, see it? I have it wrong. So I have to have it this way. So, boom. Stop it. Okay. Boom, 000, intro, right? Then 10, part 1, right? Hopefully this works. Then, right? Next timestamp. This is how you partition YouTube videos. Part 2, right? So let's say you're doing a long form vlog or something like that. This is how you would do it, right? And then you hit to have different sections of the video. Then you hit save, and then that should work. If this don't work, then watch the video. But it should be something like this, right? Do I have my partitions now? Okay, it's not showing, but it's supposed to. Just watch the video, guys. It's something like that, though. I promise you, it's very, very simple. You just have to put it in the descriptions a particular way, and then it'll start partitioning for you. My bad, I can't show you exactly how to do it, but I've done it before with other videos. I just don't remember which videos I did it with, so I can't show you guys. But definitely check out that link that I just showed you. All right, because in that it'll show you exactly how to do it in that video. LD40, great question again. Hey, LD40 did another tip. Thank you, bro. Thank you for sure. Look at that. I appreciate you so much. All right, thank you, and thank everybody for joining in. Fitness for Care, what's going on? Coming in clutch as well. Appreciate you for joining in. It's still showing, just froze a little bit. Thank you for joining in as well. All right, but yeah, definitely check out that video. And guys, this was a great live today. Definitely answered some great questions. I gotta go, but great question, Valencia, William. All right, Pretty Girl Progression, Hariz, thank you for joining in again. Alexander, thank you for the great questions. LD40, I appreciate the support. All right, for sure, it truly means a lot. Pure Lyrics was in the building. Thank you for seeing you as well. Fitness for Care coming in clutch as always. All right, I know I could always throw the alley-oop and not look back, because I know that you're going, yeah, that sucker is. So I appreciate you for joining in, brother. All right, thank you all for joining in on the live. And again, I will let you guys know this. When is it? Is it next week? Next week, Tuesday. All right. I need to make sure I make this announcement so you guys know. Next week, Tuesday, will be my last live for pause. Maybe I should have said that a different way. Will be my last live for this month, right? Because I am actually going to be volunteering, or not volunteering, but I have been assigned to work early voting. So that's going to be from October 21st all the way to November 5th. So actually it's going to be, I'm going to be missing, I'm not going to be doing the live for 3 weeks essentially. So where can I pull up a calendar? Let me pull up this calendar here to let you guys know. I'm going to let you guys know again next week, but I want to tell you guys in advance so you guys can know. I'm still going to be dropping my tech tips because obviously I do that off air, but I actually won't be available to do the lives on these days. So I just want to make sure I show you guys this. So the 21st, so that Tuesday, the 22nd, I won't be here. Today is the 8th. I will be doing a live next week, and I'll let you guys know again. So I won't be available for the 22nd for the live, the 29th for the live, and election day itself, which is the 5th. All right. So that's 3 weeks straight that I won't be on live for YouTube. But again, I'm still dropping the tech tips on the Thursday. I'm actually going to be pre-recording them and having them ready to go for you guys. So those will still be there. So we will reconvene again on live on the 12th of November. All right. So it's my civil duty. It's something that I take very, very seriously, and I hope everybody watching does as well, regardless what your affiliate is, right? Especially being a minority, we have to exercise the right that our people fought for, and some actually died for. You get what I'm saying? So just make sure you guys are out there voting. Make sure you guys know all the information you need to have, and make sure you guys are staying safe, right? And I mean that. I truly, truly mean that, because this has been a very wild year so far when it comes to being an election year. But just make sure you guys are protected. Make sure you guys are safe. And again, I'll let you guys know this again next week. But I will be missing for 3 weeks when it comes to the live. But I'll be back giving y'all these tips back on the 12th of November. All right. But again, everybody, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you all for being a part of the live and making the live be so educational with all of these great questions and things like that. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
As I look back and reflect on the things that I've done, how can one life that was paid on that day be enough? Been so long since I looked in the mirror, I hope there's still time to atone, as I thank God that He saved me a place in His home. You tried to hold me down, to keep me down from grace. And when I thought I won, you said I lost the race. Times I'm thinking what you're saying might be true. I almost gave up hope by listening to you. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I've had enough of the same old lies. Don't go telling me your point of view. You're just a face in the mirror. I got news for you. As I look back and reflect on the things that I've done, how can one life that was paid on that day be enough? Been so long since I looked in the mirror. I hope there's still time to atone, as I thank God that He saved me a place in His home.
My main feedback is this wouldn't be something I'm running in a new party because people think I'm playing a throwback.
You're completely not giving 100%. Yeah, I just don't think you got what it takes, bro.
See, making music ain't for everybody.
Stop trying to do everything Because then you're gonna get stuff that ends up sounding like
This
this.
is what it means to live in purpose. Yeah. If you ain't know, and all it ever took me was some focus. Yeah. If you ain't know, he told me spit the word without a pulpit. Yeah. If you ain't know, so I ain't letting go of my anointment. Yeah. If you ain't know, you already know what time it never is. Let go. I'm serving scriptures to the bodies that be lost in the street. Man, I ain't letting go of nothing, this the gospel to me. I'm never quitting, man, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I'm focused on my mission like I'm Moses walking straight through the sea. I got a pocket full of pennies cause my soul changed. Even that my Lord's never joined the dope game. Now I'm getting real comfy, let the coat hang. You know I'm in the building, man, I'm about to blow like propane. If all this rap is an issue, then you could grab a tissue. I'm saving lives with these verses, man, I won't even diss you. You got some hate on your spirit, man, it don't even fit you. You better step out my presence or else my God will fix you. Just know I'm living in purpose to every single daughter. I ain't gonna wait till you give it, man, I'ma take my flowers. Don't need no trophies or glory because he gave me power. I'll just keep repping the kingdom until the final hour. Purpose. Yeah. If you ain't know, and all it ever took me was some focus. Yeah. If you ain't know,